What do the Hoosiers' odds look like to win the Big Ten tournament? And Chris Ballard up to his old tricks again. We'll talk about all that and more on this episode. Stay with me.
Watford 3 on the way.
Hello, guys, and thank you so much once again for joining me on Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this Indiana Hoosiers and Colts community. We have a lot of stuff to talk about on the show today. Chris Ballard made a move. The Colts got a new player from Miami. What does this mean for the Colts? And does that mean that Chris Ballard is doing something better, worse, or is he just staying the same? Also, the Hoosiers have to win these games. There is nothing to it. The tournament starts tonight. The first set of games get going, and then we will know exactly who Indiana plays, even though we have a pretty good idea that Michigan pretty much has a allergic reaction to winning. So their likelihood of beating any team they play, especially Penn State, is going to be next to nothing. We'll get into all that and more on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. But first, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you for joining me. Leave a comment down below if you are a super passionate fan about the Hoosiers or a super passionate fan on the Colts. We talk about all that on this channel and more. So jump in the rocket ship. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. I have a giveaway. I just had a giveaway last week. T-Bone51 won a shirt. And we have giveaways on this channel all the time at 750 subscribers. I will be giving away home field apparel again. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and leave a comment down below and join the Connection clan down below, where we have the most passionate conversations about what's going on in Indiana sports with the Hoosiers and with the Colts. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, so we got the Big Ten tournament. It starts tonight, but Indiana doesn't play. They play tomorrow. So Hoosiers, it's going to be, they got to win all these games, and this is how it's lined up. Let's bring that, come on, Hillbilly Monkey, get off your ass and bring that board up so we can see the games. All right, so here we can see it. All right here, all the games that Indiana is going to have to win to get into this. So they're practically, it's going to have to be, so most likely path is that it's going to be, they're going to play Penn State, then they're going to play Nebraska, then they're going to play Illinois, then they're going to play Purdue. So there you go. Penn State, Nebraska, Illinois, Purdue, increasingly harder and harder games, and all teams that they have not beaten this year. They gave Illinois a run for their money on the road after they had a week off. Didn't make any three-pointers in that game. They lost to Penn State twice, and they lost to Nebraska twice. So Indiana's playing their best basketball right now, and Kalel Ware and Mackenzie Mbako, these guys have really come on strong. Galloway's coming off of that injury. He's going to be out there playing again. So can they raise the level of business up this week and take care of these games? I'm picking Indiana to win it. I have to. I'm going to go with my heart, and I just want Indiana to win this tournament because that's what they have to do. There's also one thing I want to talk about on this channel. I've been getting some really nasty comments from some people out there. So if you want to leave a nasty comment for me down below, like I'm just going to delete you as a person from the Connection clan, and you will not be allowed. Nobody will see your comments anymore. It really, if you actually watch the show and you actually listen to the things I say, I'm not some evil asshole, but I'm getting some comments saying stuff like that. And I'm just here to tell you, it's not going to be, we're just not going to have it. I mean, come on. Like, mostly I make this show to make entertaining videos about Indiana basketball, to grow the fan base, to grow the interest surrounding the sport. So if you don't see that out there and you don't see that that is what I'm doing, then get a clue. I'm a stand-up comedian. I love sports, and I grew up watching tons of Indiana basketball, so that's why I started this channel. I try to make it a little bit funny. I try to make it entertaining, but if I came up here and I did the show that some people wanted me to do, which would be kind of like this, how would it be if I made the show that the people who hate me in the comments, this is what the show would be like? What would it be like? Hello? Mike Woodson once again very, very good job. I don't see how these players can maybe make things a little bit better for themselves by hitting some more shots. But, you know, that's life. And if we can do just a little bit better every time, then maybe we can win some of these games. Okay? Back to you. All right. That is not very entertaining, okay? Like, I try to make the videos entertaining. I tried to analyze what's going on. Sorry, but I had to take time out. There's just getting to be people, and this channel's growing so fast, but there's a lot of knuckleheads out there that just want to like say stupid shit all the time. I want to read part of this article. There is a really, really great article by, well, this quote is from Jeff Rabjohns that was in the Indy Star. And actually one subscriber, Michael, who is one of the OGs on this channel, leaves some of the best comments, sent this to me. And just definitely an article worth reading, was in the Indy Star. I know you do have to have a membership to there. Jeff Rabjohns of Peegs.com reports that Woodson's lack of effort in recruiting has cost IU. It's March of year 3. It took until February for Woodson to go see Trent Sicily and Braylon Mullins, two of the top in-state prospects this season, and he didn't see Mullins in game until the sectional semifinals on March 1st. The national media are piling up by mocking Woodson's outdated style of play and his public comments. There are also rumors of player unhappiness, including some people close to the players who did not like Woodson calling certain players awful. There is a non-zero chance we will see a mass exodus and a full rebuild. The mismanagement of this program and lack of effort on the recruiting trail is understandable for somebody with no head coaching experience in college, but it's unacceptable for someone who's making more than $4 million a year, especially since Woodson has advantages no previous IU coach has ever had, most notably the ability to recruit athletes who are openly receiving NIL funds. One other thing I know he has access to is a private jet. One time when he went on a recruiting trip that was an hour and a half drive away from Bloomington, he took a private jet there. That's what he has that many coaches at IU never had before. And what you would want to do is, if you draw a circle around Bloomington, 250-mile radius, that's your recruiting right there. That's all you have to do. But that article is really great, and it really shows the level of incompetence. And if you want to sit here and be one of the rose-colored glasses people, go ahead and be my guest. But I'll tell you what, I'm never going to join that crew. I'm never going to just be like easy on somebody because, we just got to not be mean to the coach. There's one other thing. There's one other part of this article. There's a forum. It's called The Burner, a national online forum. In that forum right now, of all teams in Division I teams, Indiana has 19,575 messages on that thread. The next highest is Kansas with 3,231 messages. And then the general ACC thread, which is all people talking about the ACC, has 854 messages. To everybody who is subscribing to this channel, for everybody who loves the Hoosiers, you guys are doing a great job out there. And you know what? We have the best fans by far. Those numbers really, really tell the story that we have the most passionate fans in all of college basketball. Keep up the good work. It's not your fault out there, fans, that people keep just doing a lackluster, shitty job for IU. Now, let's talk just a minute about Chris Ballard, because I have to talk about this. Chris Ballard, he signed the defensive tackle Davis from Miami, 357-pound guy that's going to be a backup defensive tackle. Chris Ballard, he is never quick to spend the money out there, and I'm a little bit concerned because the Colts, and I'm a huge Colts fan, but they are on the brink of really having like just a decade of mediocrity. And I mean, I hate to say that maybe they're at the point that IU is at, but it's like the Colts, they have to make some big moves at some point. Chris Ballard, how long can he be the GM of the Colts and just have mediocre season after mediocre season. I mean, we've hovered around 500 and then we've had a really disastrous year, but he's kept us right in the ball game, but we just sit right at 15, don't we? We're like just mid-tier as far as NFL teams go. Hopefully, this could be the big opportunity that if a lot of quarterbacks go early in this draft and we have the opportunity to get Brock Bowers, we could get a game-changing player. Brock Bowers will also make Pittman a much more effective target for Anthony Richardson. We won't have just one go-to possession guy. We'll have another dynamic guy who can be in the middle of the field, and that is going to be a game changer for the Colts. I really hope they can get him. There are a few other players, some edge rushers and things out there that the Colts might be able to get. But also, I think he needs to make a move in free agency and get a wide receiver or a corner, a veteran wide receiver or a corner, one of those positions, just to shore up, because our corners are terrible. I do feel like we just need a more dynamic wide receiver. Could Pierce turn into something? He could, but boy, you're just sitting around waiting year after year after year for a lot of these guys to turn into somebodies, and they're not turning into a lot of somebodies. So I think he's got to make Chris Ballard, you got to make some big splash moves this year, or I believe the Colts are going to start losing a lot of fans. And that's not a good thing for Indianapolis, because we got to keep this quarterback healthy and we got to give him weapons so that he has somebody to throw to, and he's not going to be running the ball around all over the place. Brock Bowers is a guy that I think can go out there, read zone defenses, and make himself available. And he could be a guy that could get drafted. They're both young guys together. And he had a lot of good things to say about Anthony Richardson in an interview I saw. So I just thought, man, this guy, they could be a real dynamic duo for the Colts. Tell me what you think about that. I love just thinking about that happening. And then what could happen if we had a combination like that again? Like Fleener and Luck, or Clark and Manning, or Harbaugh and Dilger. We've always had a good 1-2 punch. Or Pollard and Manning. We've always had good tight ends at the Colts as well. I want to play this clip real quick because Nick Saban was in front of Congress and he talked a little bit about NIL and what he was doing coaching. And I don't want this to take any heat off of Mike Woodson, but it really shows you that we are in a different world right now. Let's roll that clip.
All the things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always was about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday with their parents for breakfast, and she would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help and impact their sons and how they would be well taken care of. And she came to me, like right before I retired and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them. They don't care about how you're going to develop them, which is all what we've always done. So why are we doing this? So, to me,
I got to tell you, I watched this clip and I thought, that's sad, because he's the best college football coach of all time. It's like the game has changed so much that it really just stole his joy of even like developing these players, and that people are that just ass backwards about money in the world today. It really, people do get too wrapped up in money. It's really unfortunate. Speaking of money, I would like to take some time and thank my sponsor. This episode is brought to you by NordVPN. Whether you go to airports all the time or you travel all the time, NordVPN will protect all of your devices. This software is absolutely great. If you travel a lot, and I travel around sometimes with my laptop, and somebody could just hack right in and steal all my videos and all the stuff that I have on there. So protect it with NordVPN. Thank you to them for sponsoring the channel. a new sponsor. I do believe that there will be some major repercussions for NIL, and that being that in the same way that so many like child stars get totally messed up in the head because they make this massive amount of money when they're young, I think the same thing is going to happen for tons of these athletes at the beginning of NIL. I think that's going to cause NIL to set up some types of programs for these kids for once they leave. And you can see the reason why Galloway and Leo want to come back and play at Indiana, because all that matters to them might be, yes, playing for Indiana, but also the influence that it brings you. You know, you're more visual on message boards and things like that, on Twitter, whatever it is, because some of these players, that's, if you go and look at their Instagram or whatever, they do a ton of that stuff. And then once they're out of playing, they don't have any of that to fall back on besides like going to Europe or doing something like that. But, you know, that's just not for everybody. And not everybody wants to be on a podcast or do this or that. Are we teaching these kids how to live the next steps of their life? You know, how to start a business, how to do this, how to do that. I don't really think we are. I think we're failing these kids in a lot of ways by giving them this NIL money, and then they're pretty much like, they're done with college. You're back to being like, okay, well, what the heck? I can't make $200,000, $300,000 out here in the real world all willy-nilly. It's just a lot harder than that, you know? So I don't know. This is just like stuff that's really at the precipice of it maybe changing into something else and there being contracts or something like that. So tell me what you think about that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, stay classy out there, Colts and Hoosier fans.
Loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done?